Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Fuel and Fumes podcast. We are your two hosts who bring you everything from racing news and gambling picks. Every Friday morning, we bring you all the racing news to the table, discussing all the breaking news from IndyCar, Formula One, NASCAR, and every other motorsport series. McGregor, how are we doing?
I'm doing good, Spence. How are you?
I'm just peachy. We have a fantastic guest on the podcast, of course, Jordan Agajanian. How are we doing too?
I'm great. It's been one heck of a 5 or 6 days or so.
Yeah. Welcome back to the pod, by the way.
Dude, I've missed you guys. I've been waiting. Spencer messaged me and I was like, dude, clear my schedule.
It's been way too long since we had you on, and our last episode was so good. So we figured we may as well get you on and get you talking about all the crazy things going on in your life right now. And before we get any deeper into this, this episode is fueled by C4 Energy. Remember to use code FUMES, that is FUMES, at checkout for 20% off.
I love it. It's great that we have the Oprah Winfrey of motorsports now on the podcast.
Oh my God, get out of here. No,
overnight, we didn't know what to do for royalty, so we just thought we'd set up a podcast and we ran it that way. So
oh my God, you guys are so funny. No, it's so good to be here. I mean, like you said, like I've been getting all these questions from mostly young girls. I think I looked at my Instagram audience like the other day and it was like 70% female, which was sick. And it was just, I'm responding to everybody individually. It's taking me a minute because I also have like a full-time job. So when you reached out to me for this, I was like, this is perfect. I can like kind of, answer some of the main questions in, video format and then put it out there for everybody. So.
Well, McGregor loves entertaining young women anyway, so this is
I was gonna say, this is your demographics are the absolute opposite of what ours are. So, it might be nice to get some new faces on the pod. And Spencer, you're going to jail for that one.
Oh my God.
It's the perfect merger for us because we thought that this is a perfect collab that we love having you on because you're, exactly kind of what, women should look up to in motorsports. And, it's the perfect trio. It's like our Mount Rushmore is us three. We need one more. I don't know who we're going to put on that.
We got to get someone. I'm not sure who it would be.
I don't know. Who would you guys put on the podcast so we could have one more person?
Got to get Darren on here at some point.
Got to get Darren. You mean like a consistent, like every week type guy?
Yeah, you could. And then that'd be 4. So
that'd be 4.
One more.
That's
you saying me?
Yeah, I'm saying if there was us three in the Mount Rushmore, we need one more.
We need one more.
Who could
Darren? Dude, Darren's so busy.
Darren's too busy. We can't have Darren. Darren can't. I can't get him down to a schedule. Never mind sitting down on a podcast every week.
I mean, he would be the best option, but I don't know. I'd have to brainstorm that one. I'd have to think.
As far as like a careers in motorsports adjacent goes, Darren, I think, is my 4th guy
for sure. Oh yeah.
Well, the accent just reels it together. The
exactly. We need a Brit.
That's what we're missing.
Yeah.
We need a diversity hire Darren.
Yeah, that's it. We just have tea time. So, Jordan, you got lots of questions to start reeling off. So I'm going to let you take it away and, do whatever questions you want, as many as we can, or as many as you want to, because we can be here all day if you want to. So take it away. Of course, these questions are from the Google Doc that Jordan put up on her Instagram.
Yes. Should I talk about it?
Backstory. Give us a backstory.
So, I guess like for the past month and a half, 2 months or so, I've been, obviously I've been working with Lindsay Brewer and Jesse and a couple other drivers for about the past like year and a half now, ever since I've been at C4, and haven't really taken to Instagram to like share my story. My whole life I've been super passionate about motorsports and I've always wanted to work in motorsports. And really the past couple months or so was like, I kind of want to share my story a little bit. And like, just so that, if there's 1 or 2 other people out there who are thinking of doing the same thing, like letting them know that, like it can be really difficult. It's a very competitive field. Like I just feel like in all aspects, whether you're a driver or wanting to get into marketing or want to be a mechanic, like it's a super high demand right now. And so I don't know, I just shared my story a little bit and had a couple Instagram reels just take off. And suddenly there were all these girls and, some guys too, but a lot of girls just like in my comments and really in my DMs asking how they can get into motorsports. What did you study? And I was getting so many of them, and I wanted to answer them all. And I like found myself like on my phone, like just trying to like type away as fast as I could. And I was like, I want, some questions were in comments, some questions were in DM form, some were like in my primary folder, like they were all over the place. So I was like, I'm just gonna, I was literally in the airport on my way back from Texas after the Xfinity race, and I was about to board, and I was like, I need to like make a Google form really quick. And I like put it together, put it in my bio. And like, by the time like the next morning I had like over 100 responses, and like now I have like close to 300, and I'm going to answer all of them individually, but like excited to get on here. And, thank you to everybody who submitted questions. Like I said, you'll get a response individually. It might take me a couple days or so.
Yeah.
But you will get one, I promise. And, but wanted to hop on here is perfect opportunity. And like in that Google Doc, I kind of compiled the most frequently asked questions from, my audience, and put them into a form that Mac McGregor has pulled up right now. So yeah, just fire away and I'll answer them to the best of my ability. And if I don't have an answer, then I don't have one.
Yeah, exactly.
I could try to back it up, but I would pose as a very poor female in motorsports.
You're almost there with the hair.
Yeah.
And the glasses, but
the mustache will give it away very clearly.
Yeah. All right. So first question, what is your story in motorsports, and how did you get started, and how did you get your foot in the door?
Okay. Yeah, that's
kind of a loaded one, but
that is a loaded one. I guess I'll give a little bit of background on me. So and I know I've been on the pod before, but I think there are a lot of new eyeballs now. So I'll just quickly recap. I grew up in a family that's been racing Indy cars and just involved in motorsports in general since the 40s. So growing up, I was going to races, watching the Indy 500 every year. Motorsports racing, and specifically IndyCar, was just a giant piece of my family history, and just like our everyday life. Like some families on Saturdays, they watch football, we watch IndyCar. It's just how it goes.
Hoorah.
Yeah, for real, dude. So yeah, grew up always loving it. Got a little bit older and started seeing some females in the sport really doing what I wanted to do. And I was like, because I loved marketing and I wanted to do sports marketing, but I loved racing. And I was like, how can I put the two together? Is that even possible? Like, there weren't any like females in motorsport Instagram accounts back when I was looking into it. Like there wasn't really anything on the internet that showed like a good example, I think, of at least like there wasn't anything that was like a combined, like portfolio of like, look at all these females in motorsport. Like there wasn't really a lot of talk around it. I mean, of course there was like Danica Patrick, but like in terms of like working on like the other
There's
side,
no real head figure. No,
there wasn't. Not for being on the kind of like, not corporate side, but like marketing side or
background side of it.
The non-driver side of it.
The non-driver side.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So I was like, is that even a thing? Like, I don't even know how to do that. And so I remember I was applying out of college, and my thinking was like super black and white, right? And this is like a lot of the times what I try to explain to like my audience is how I was. And like, I guess it was like, I was graduating college. It was like 2017, 2018. And I was like, how can I work in motorsports? Okay, I either need to work for IndyCar, NASCAR, like Andretti or Penske. And if I can't get a job at any of those, like I'm kind of out of luck. And so of course, like applied to all those. I was so fresh out of college and just kept getting the, unfortunately you don't meet the criteria, emails. And so, but I still wanted to do it. Like, I was like, there has to be another way. Like you're telling me like everybody only works at one, there has to be another way. Like it just didn't seem right to me.
Yeah.
And I wasn't really ready to give up. And so always just kept motorsports, like, back in my mind, like no matter where I was working, I always was kind of looking for opportunities to fuse whatever I was doing and motorsports. I can remember my first job, out of college, I was working at Bird Scooters. So it was like, that ride share service.
Yeah,
I love
what I'm
they're such a good time.
Dude, yeah. Oh God.
How we get to and from the bars is the only way we use the Birds.
That's how my buddy broke his hand.
So yeah, we would deal with a lot of that. I would get like, so I was literally just like rider support. So I would get like emails from people being like, you know, I need my $2.50 back. My bird didn't start. So not really a lot of like opportunity to bring motorsports into that.
Right.
But I remember we had a brand partnerships team, and I had this idea, and I was kind of like watching what they were doing. And they were, this was back before really like influencers were, like there were the big like YouTubers.
Yeah, but influencers as a definition really wasn't a thing at that point.
Yeah, it was before the big TikTok blow up. I mean, this was like 2018, and there was, you know, people with Instagram followings, but it was very much like you either had like 1, 2, 3 million followers, or you had like, you were an average Joe like me who just follows your sorority sisters and posted, your spring break in Cabo. Like that was it. There wasn't like a lot of like, there wasn't this micro, nano, macro influencer. It was either you're, you know, David Dobrik or you're Jordan Agajanian, you have 5 followers. And it's fine. Like that's just the way it was. So I saw, we had this brand partnerships team at Bird, and I would always like watch what they were doing. And at our all hands meeting, they would always kind of like talk about what they were doing. And they were, it was the first time I ever heard of like gifting, like they were gifting Bird scooters to people. And so my first thought was, we should give these to the IndyCar drivers so they can drive them around the paddock. At that time, they were still all riding those, like those mopeds that they would like sit on, you know, some of those,
like the pit bikes.
Massive tank mopeds.
Yes. Yeah. And they were, and, you know, they were like fully branded, like whatever. And some of them still drive them. But I was like, God, Bird scooters would be so much better, like in the paddock, like to get from hospitality to the garage, to the track, to the starting grid, like whatever, like just replace that clunky old scooter with a Bird. Like, I was like, that's such a great opportunity. We can brand it up for them. Like we can do whatever we want for the drivers. And so I remember I suggested that. And I was like, you guys, I have this great idea. Like, I think that we should gift birds to, and I had a friend driving IndyCar at the time, and I was trying to get him connected with Bird. And I was like, we should gift him a bird. And it ended up like not panning out. And then it was weird. It was like, they were like, no, like, we're not really interested in that. And I was like, bummer. Okay. But like, again, just always keeping an open mind.
An idea.
Yeah.
Just how can I fuse, like, how can I bring motorsports into this? Like, opportunity is everywhere if you're looking for it. Like, I worked at a rideshare company, like a scooter company.
Yeah.
Like,
and you were still thinking like, how can I make this?
There has to be a way. Like, there's like, I got to innovate. I got to adapt. I got to like sew these two worlds together. You know, I can
find a way to get a foot in the door there.
Yeah. And, you know, that didn't end up panning out, but that's okay, because it was still like, I was still chasing it. And I think that that's like, you know, one thing I love to emphasize is like, it doesn't matter what the outcome is. Like, I still was chasing like my passion, you know, like I was still like a connector and like trying to like bring two things together that I loved. And, you know, a couple months later, I actually saw that they gifted Connor Daly a bird. And I was like, I swear that was my idea. Like, you know, and I was like, okay, cool. And I was stoked. I was like, whether they took it from me or not, doesn't really matter. I'm just glad it happened. And now you see them all riding scooters, and I had nothing to do with that, but I was just like, how funny. Like, you know, every time I see that, I'm like, that I remember being like, they should all be on Bird scooters. So I think just from, you know, like a very early on in my career, I was always just trying to like, you know, bring motorsports into whatever I was doing.
100%.
So I never stopped, like, even where there was an opportunity, you kind of have to like make the opportunity, you know?
You have to be, don't really be objective, but throw as many darts as you can, because you have to take every opportunity, whether you think it's a big one or a small one. There's certain times where we've taken opportunities in motorsports where you've been like, maybe that's not the best idea, and it's been the best. And some of my best ideas have been the worst ideas.
The worst ideas.
So you really don't know until you try it, and don't be afraid to kind of, you know, fail, because sometimes it does, and it doesn't work. You just got to throw as many darts as you can and hope.
And I think like especially for young girls, because I feel like there's so much pressure about, oh, what are other people going to think of me, and like XYZ, and like, you just like, excuse me. Okay, let's cut that out. Like, what's the worst that's going to happen? Like with the brand partnerships team at Bird, I'm like, you know, I was so shameless. I was like trying to get on their team so bad. Like I was literally like following up, like writing them letters, like leaving like notes on their desk, like messaging them, like, because they told me they had a position opening up on the team and they were considering me. And like, so I was just like following up constantly. And I ended up leaving the company before they filled the role. But I mean, just being, my whole fear was like, what if they think I'm annoying? What if they think, okay, so what's the worst that happens?
Right?
You're annoying. I am annoying. You know what I mean? Like, it's fine. Like, it's okay. No one's going to die. Nothing,
Yeah, is my not life or death.
Is my ego going to be hurt a little bit if I let it be, like at the end of the day, like they're not even going to, like when their head hits the pedal at night, they're not thinking about me. You know what I mean? So you just have to get over that. I feel like, I just think about when I was 15, 16, I was so caught up in like, what are people going to think of me if all, I try to do exercise? Like, who cares? Like, go for it.
What's the worst now?
What's the worst somebody can do? Say no. Okay. Try again. Like
say worse, but
yeah.
So of course, to the next question that we got here on your list, it said, what did you study or education path did you take? I guess it's not relative in correlation, but just the general question of what your education is.
Yeah, a lot of people were asking me, specifically like, what did I study? And then what should I study? A lot of girls who are reaching out to me and guys too, they're like, I'm about to start university. What should I major in? They're young, they're like 17, 18, which is awesome. And so I'll go back. What I studied, I went to Texas Christian University, so in Fort Worth, Texas, and I picked that school because I had a top 25 business school, and I knew I wanted to study business. I knew I wanted to do marketing. And at the time I did that, I didn't know specifically what kind of marketing, but it was generic enough of a degree that I could kind of go any way with it. It wasn't like bio or something that I definitely knew I didn't want to do. So started with marketing. I would say the one thing about like the type of classes I was taking was that they were kind of they felt like outdated. I think like it was almost like the curriculum hadn't caught up with like where the world was going yet in terms of marketing. Like I think they offered like one digital marketing class, like, which is crazy because like now that's all marketing is.
Yeah.
Like all digital, all social media, like influencer marketing. But yeah, I took, any class that I could take that was kind of in the sports field. There was one sports and entertainment marketing class. I took it. There was that digital marketing class. I took it. So I think, for me, just keeping that like overall marketing degree and just a business degree in general was super helpful because it was so broad and it opened the door to like, there were a lot of opportunities, luckily at my university too. Like my senior year, I was a athletics marketing intern with the athletic department. And Perfect. So, obviously TCU doesn't have a racing team, but it was still great for me to understand, the ins and outs of event days. Like I would work baseball games, and like just having experience in working long days in the sports world, coming up with promotional calendars, like anything, that was even like had a bit of sports involved in it. I jumped into it because I knew that would translate. So yeah, studied business, kind of had I guess not an official focus in sports marketing, but I definitely did everything I could to kind of get my foot and get as much experience as I could in sports marketing. People ask me what they should study if they're going to university to get into motorsports. It depends what you want to do. I don't really have any specific advice for like, if you want to be an engineer, I would assume some sort of, engineering degree. Again, I'm not an engineer, so I don't know. I can tell you definitely don't major in marketing if you want to be a mechanic or an engineer.
It's good advice.
But yeah, like I know that, and that's wrong.
Yeah.
But I would suggest like if you want to get into comms, PR, like media, marketing, motorsports, like partnerships, sponsorships, like anything, in like a communications degree is great. A PR, like if there's like a PR, the thing is like you kind of want to pick something general. And again, this is just my advice. Like
general's great because like business, that general, because I took political science and that has nothing to do with anything in motorsports, and I work full-time in motorsports. So
yeah, exactly.
It doesn't really matter to an extent. Now business is great, like you said, because it's relative to everything in motorsports, depending on what department you want to go to.
For sure.
But it's anything to an extent.
Yeah. I mean, like don't major in bio if you want to like be a marketing person. I mean, you could try. I don't know how it would work.
You could give it a go.
You could give it. If you do that, let me know how it goes. But yeah, I would recommend like to anybody who is, knowing that they want to do motorsports marketing, whether it's PR, content, etc. Like I would recommend, like, I love my business degree. I think it's helped very well. I think it looks really good on my resume. It's helped me get a lot of jobs. And that's, so I'm always going to recommend a business degree. But I think anywhere in the comms world, marketing, PR, branding, anything like that is probably a safe bet if you want to do marketing.
Completely agree.
Yeah.
Or you could just get a degree like mine and you don't use it. So it's,
I was gonna say
political science. I mean, there's a lot of politics in racing.
Yeah, there's a little politics. Yeah. I don't know if my degree, I wish my degree helped to an extent. It helps with legal documents, but not on the political side. But there you can take almost anything to an extent, and it gives you a base and credibility of being educated. So it's a good start.
And that's all it is a lot of people, because I've been getting messages too where people are like, I studied XYZ and I just think I really messed up and now I don't know what I'm going to do. And to me, in my experience, because I can only speak from my experience. My degree has been fantastic, but it's been, just a base for me.
Mm-hmm.
The places where I've really gotten the experience and the knowledge of the sport and the industry is in actually working in the real world, whether that's been in motorsports or not. Like, even I worked at Ticketmaster, learned a ton about digital marketing. Like that's not specifically in motorsports, but that's where a lot of my experience and knowledge of marketing as just like a practice comes from. So yeah, I wouldn't say that there is, any wrong degree. Like it's not an end all be all if you studied biology and you want to work in marketing. It just means you might have to work a little bit harder to learn about marketing in the outside world. You just don't have that degree as a basis, but that's okay.
Right.
Mm-hmm. You don't, at the end of the day, you might not even need it altogether, depending on seeing where you're at and, how
and that's another
thing.
To
an extent.
People have been asking me, I don't have a college degree. Like, can I still get into racing? And I think racing is for anybody. I think racing is for everybody. I think that having a college degree, like just candidly, definitely helps if you're applying to, a lot of companies like major corporations won't look at your resume if you don't have a college degree. But that doesn't mean that it's impossible. Doesn't mean that it's a no-go. So I think that there's always an avenue. If you want it, bad enough, you'll find it.
It's always a door open. Just depends on how hard you bang on that door.
Exactly. It's all about who you know too, right? So next question. Did you have any motorsport internships?
No, I did not. I had no motorsports internships. No, I didn't. The internship I had at the athletic department at TCU was the most like sports related type internship I had.
Right.
But yeah, in terms of like motorsports specifically, I did not. Okay.
Wow. Man.
Yeah.
Just goes to show that you can do anything you want, really, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't even know anyone in the industry, and well, at least in my experience that I've talked to about education, I don't think I know anyone that had a motorsports internship. Right? That's got to be a pretty difficult one to get.
So I know, like, if you're living in, I know some people who are from Indiana, and I guess Indiana does this like really cool thing for, I want to say it's for college students, and it's like a month of May, like volunteer internship.
Why is it the month of May, Jordan?
Huh?
Why is it the month of May in Indy? Why did they pick the month of May?
I don't know. I can't imagine why they
couldn't have been anything
like any other month. But yeah, they do like where you can literally volunteer, and they put you up in like, they house you near the track, and you get to volunteer. It's like a college program, and you get to volunteer. And I don't know if you get college credits or what it looks like, but you can either choose like just for the Indy GP or just for the 500, or you could do the whole month of May.
Yeah.
And I know somebody who did that and they loved it, and that was how they got into racing. And she was actually the team coordinator at Juncos. I was working with her before. She'd actually just left to be an engineer at HMD, but yeah, she was telling me all about that because I asked her how she got her start. I'm always curious to know, like,
yeah.
She was like, well, I did this internship for the month of May when I was in college and loved it, and
got bit by the bug.
Yeah, got bit by the bug. Yeah.
Yeah, I think exposure is a huge thing. Like figuring out when you're, if you're in North America, figuring out when your local track or somewhere close to you is having an event, whether it's IndyCar, whether it's NASCAR, whether it's any motorsports series, just overexpose yourself. Go the whole weekend. Go Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Do the whole weekend. Ingrain yourself in it, because one day is not going to get you anything. 4 days might not really get you anything, but constantly exposing yourself to the space is massive. Of, you know, showing your face in the paddock, even if you're not really doing anything. Like,
people start to. I mean, I remember just like even, you know, from being around the track and in the paddock last season. I remember by the end, I remember like St. Pete, I was like, I don't know any of these people. And then by the end of the season, I was like, I've made so many friends just from like being at these races. Like, I don't even work with these people, but I just see them so often. And I've had some people ask me like, would you recommend that I go to races? And like, would that help me, like having my, you know, my just being present? And I'm like, absolutely. Like, talk to people. And like, don't try to be cool. You know what I mean? Like, you don't need to walk through the paddock and be low key. Like, find people, ask questions, like, you know, like network, talk to people. Obviously, if somebody's like doing something, don't, you know, bother them in the middle of
getting in the car.
Excuse me. Yeah. But really quick
question. Thank you, brother.
But yeah, I think it's great to show up and ask questions. And I think that's just the best way to learn, is by like being in the space physically, consistently.
Like, I mean, even the one time I was in like Toronto Indy, I was sitting outside of the paddock, and there's a bunch of volunteers there just setting up in the shade. And like, I was just hanging out there. I just started chatting with them and found out, you know, they volunteer at Motorsports, like the local track, and they run track days, and they do this and that, and they have all these affiliations. They're like it was a 10-minute conversation. I met this lovely lady, and she took me through the paddock and all this, and, you know, talked to me about everything. So, hey, you just got to be there. You just got to
show up. You just got to ask questions. And a lot of people have been asking like, oh, like, what's the best way to get like to volunteer? Like, you keep saying volunteer.
Yeah.
And I posted a reel today and tagged this account that I found, and I love them. And they are like doing the Lord's work. It's called Formula One V, so like Formula One volunteers, and it's run by these 3 really cool girls, and they
on Instagram.
On Instagram. I tagged them in my reel, and they definitely follow them. Like, they post opportunities to volunteer in F1 and also Formula E, and they like literally give you like a step-by-step guide. Like, they'll give you all the information you need. Like, oh, like, volunteering for so-and-so like Grand Prix is now open, closes on this date. Here's what you have to do. Step 1, go to this website. Step 2, here are the different positions that are open. Like, and it's, they just make it super accessible. And so honestly, like, cause, you know, I think it's one thing for me to say, volunteer, but I want to be able to like direct my audience to like something actionable. And like, I don't have all those details, but like this account does. And so definitely like follow them if you're looking to get into F1 or really any type of motorsport, just, you know. And I think too, that's something that's really important, is like, people are like, well, I want to get into NASCAR, so I need to, you know, volunteer at NASCAR. I want to get into MotoGP, so I need to volunteer or only apply to MotoGP. And it's like, they're all transferable. You know what I mean? Like, it's a world of motorsports, and experience is experience. So I would recommend like definitely have a focus. For me, like, I grew up with IndyCar. I'm the most knowledgeable about IndyCar. I know it's like the back of my hand. NASCAR is super new for me. Like, it's definitely, when I'm at the track, a world that I'm not super familiar with. But don't have a closed mind to other experiences just because you want to be in one. Like, just because I wanted to work in IndyCar doesn't mean that, like, you know, NASCAR experience is, you know, wayside. Like, like, take any experience you can get. All the skills transfer.
It's a good point too. Like, I think Formula One is like known as this like podium at the very top. Honest to God, Formula One's great. It's massive, but there's so many motorsports series that you can be a part of. And don't just pick the one that you like, or like you said, the one you want to be in. Any experience in motorsports, whether it's 4-wheel or 2-wheel, is experience, and just get in it in any way you can.
100%. Yeah, my boyfriend just went to the Mint 400, which were like those trophy trucks, which I had never heard of. And he was like, it was so sick. And like, so I had never heard of it, but I'm starting to like check it out. And I'm like, some people, like, this is their world. Like, and some people like the way that like IndyCar is for me, like that's their IndyCar. And it's like, yeah, I would be totally open-minded to like going to a race and like working at a race there and like seeing what that's like. Like I just like, you know, it's okay to have like a focus on one thing that you prefer, but like don't discount these other smaller series. And if you want to get, you know, your foot in the door and you want to hang out in the paddock and kind of start talking to people, those smaller series are super accessible.
Oh yeah.
So
it was like IMSA. I wouldn't say IMSA small, but it's a great start. Like
totally
to get your foot in the door in some regard. Like just any opportunity is one. And like you said, don't have an ego and just pick any opportunity you can. Like prove yourself is exactly what it is. Take any opportunity someone's going to give you, even if it's taking out the trash, man.
Yeah.
If teams that wants you take it out, just take it out. Man. Your face is going to get recognized. So yeah, just do everything and anything.
Like I feel like a lot of the times, like, especially for me, I'm either going to be the director of marketing at Penske or I'm never going to work in motorsports. And there's certainly a middle ground. Maybe that's just like my mentality. I'm super black and white and I want to do everything or I'm not, you know, I mean, I either do everything and I'm great and I'm the, you know, director of marketing and I'm blah, 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 or I'm like nothing and I'm never going to work in motorsports. But, and that's why like I keep emphasizing like in my reels and on my social media, like start small, like the way that I started working, you know, to getting to where I am now, which I've had a lot of questions on. So I'll definitely get into that. But I started super small. Like I started working at Nutribullet when I interviewed or C4 when I interviewed with C4, they mentioned to me that they had just signed this female race car driver and I had heard of Lindsay and, you know, they said, do you have any knowledge on IndyCar? And I was like, I do. And so, you know, I remember telling my boss, it must've been like my second week. I said, I would love to help out with this partnership as much as possible. Like I wasn't hired into Nutribullet to lead that partnership or to lead kind of the motorsports like initiative there.
Happened naturally.
The what?
Happened naturally.
Yeah. And it honestly just happened with like me just, you know, being persistent and doing small tasks and kind of like showing myself to where my boss was like, oh, wow. Like she actually knows a lot about this. And, you know, it started out though. Like I remember just like, I wasn't in charge of like the partnership with Lindsay at all. Like that was totally my boss. And I would just help out where she needed a deck made here or she needed, you know, some numbers pulled there. And can anybody do this? You know, raise my hand. I love racing. Sure, I'll pull, you know, total engagements on Lindsay's post for the month of March, like whatever it was. And then, yeah, it just, you know, I wasn't afraid to start small, you know, like bottom of the totem pole, I guess, is like kind of how I think about it. And that's okay that like I started there. Like that. And that's where I think it's important where people like, it's not this so like all or nothing, like make the decks, like pull the reports, like, there was a period of time where me and my brother were going to like, we never did it, but we were like, just going to start our own like website where we just talk about IndyCar and like, we never did it, but I remember being so passionate about it, knowing that I was like, probably one person's going to read this and it's my dad. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like, just be okay with like, just doing like the small stuff. It'll grow.
Everybody's got to start somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So just like this podcast. I mean, that's what Spencer and I did. We were talking on a train one day on the ride home from an IndyCar race.
On a train? Wait, where?
On the way home from Toronto. Yeah.
We don't really ride trains.
It's too hard to drive to Toronto from where we live. So it's easier for us to hop on the GO Transit. And then it takes us 50 minutes to the, like no traffic. It's like right there, 52 minutes.
Is it like a train or it's like
a
Oh no, it's like
a massive double decker train.
Oh yeah.
If it could go choo-choo, it would. You know?
Do you guys is that like a method of transportation you guys use quite often? Or?
Just to get to Toronto.
Okay.
Toronto's too difficult with the traffic, and we want to go to a Blue Jays game. You know, hop on the train, have a couple pops.
Yeah, exactly.
Blue Jays game.
Yeah.
Pop soda.
Yeah.
But we say pops to make it less blunt, and then we say it means beer.
Couple wobbly pops.
Wobbly.
Yeah, wobbly pops.
But
I love it.
A little Canadian
lingo.
Speak
a different language up there.
But that's that was like our origin story. We're like, hey, we should do this, once a week, every week for 34 weeks now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. You posted 34. I was like, damn, has it been that long? Like,
no,
that's crazy.
It's just, we just keep grinding. Like
at 50, we're gonna stop. Me and McGregor said that's it.
No, you're not. No, we'll never stop.
That's it, man.
50 comes around. That's it.
Yeah.
We're done. What is another question we got here for Jordan on her list, McGregor?
So, next question, for someone who's still in school, what would you recommend doing most? You've kind of already touched on this with kind of, you know, some of the volunteer work, and, you know, hopping on any sports marketing for teams and things like that. Is there anything else that you'd recommend?
Yeah, I mean, like really simple things, right? It doesn't take much. Like, I think just becoming as knowledgeable about the sport as possible. So, like, it sounds silly, but like just watching races, like, you know, following, you know, I use Instagram, and I've talked about this in some of my reels. Like, Instagram is the best educational and networking tool that I think I mean, I use it more than LinkedIn. I mean more people on Instagram than I do LinkedIn.
100%.
Yeah. And so I would say really diving into Instagram, LinkedIn too, if that's your thing, but you really utilizing it as an educational tool and finding people who, you know, I feel like there's this whole thing on Instagram right now where it's like cool to not post and like cool to like, you know, not follow that many people. And like, just,
we try to post like once a day. You just gotta keep hammering out posts.
Yeah, but I feel like there's this weird energy around Instagram now. And like, I think that just find the content that you like and like just become a sponge, honestly. And follow like those accounts, like I was saying, like Formula 1V, like volunteers, females in motorsport are always posting, like, I mean, that's for females, but they're always posting like great volunteers, sometimes paid opportunities. And so just, you know, putting all that stuff in front of you and in your feed, I think is the best foot forward. And then again, if you want to do like media and stuff, I think start a Instagram or TikTok where you talk about like things that are going on in F1 or IndyCar, or NASCAR, Formula E, or F1 Academy, like whatever your kind of like passion is. Just start doing that. Like that's what I did. You know, I just started telling my story and talked about what I was interested in and passionate about on Instagram. And like now I'm on a podcast, you know, so it's anybody can do it. And what inspired me was that I saw other people doing it. And so if I can do that and I can just tell my story and my experience and try to help as many people as I can, then who's to say you can't do it? Like anybody can do it.
100%.
Like I'm not special. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think the sponge, you know, analysis is great because it's true. Knowledge is key, and just, you know, ingraining yourself in it. If you have the passion for motorsports, you'll get it, because if you enjoy the sport and you know, enjoy learning about the sport, I learn something new every day at work, and it's just, you know, learning, you know, enjoying to learn motorsports and knowing everything about it. You'll never know everything about it, but, you know, trying to learn everything and understanding, you know, new aspects of racing and whatever it is as a fan or as a job.
I remember like, so something that really helped me was just asking so many questions. Like, because what's really been so helpful for me in my job is, and I think is my biggest asset, is truly how knowledgeable I am about the sport. Like, even if you think like, well, being knowledgeable about, you know, like XYZ is not going to help me with sports marketing, like it is like like I always say this, I'm like, knowledge is power. And so like, you know, I'm not afraid to not know something. My brother, I have 3 brothers, but one of them is super knowledgeable, knows everything about like the mechanics of like IndyCar. He's like super into all of that stuff. And so I ask him, I'm like, hey, like what is the difference between, and like silly question, but I'm like, what's the difference between like IndyCar and F1 like cars? Like I don't understand. Like I know what an IndyCar is, but like why are the F1 cars different? Like I know they're a hybrid, and like why are the tires different? And like he's explaining it to me, and like just knowing that is like super helpful. Like just the more you know, it just kind of like enriches your overall understanding of the sport, and like just proves to be a great asset for you in your career.
Well, that's a great thing too, in terms of you're talking about women in motorsports. Proving that you have the knowledge is a massive thing too. Just in regular conversation of, talking to people at the track. If you can, prove that you know motorsports, it gives you a lot of respect. And I think that's a massive thing of, gaining respect in motorsports. It's just knowing motorsports.
Yeah,
totally.
exactly.
Yeah.
All right. And then for the last question, what is your favorite part of your job? Are there any ups and downs to it?
So I would say my favorite part of my job, I think just getting to connect with people. Like I love being at the racetrack and getting to connect with people and talk to people and network with people and just be in that environment. And honestly, like the coolest part for me is, so when I go to the track a lot, I'll entertain guests. So like if C4 is sending people, not so much if like with Jesse, but with Lindsay, I'll meet the guests and I'll get to entertain them. And like a lot of them, it's their first time at the racetrack, right? So that they're just like, whoa, like they are enamored. They get to meet Lindsay. They get to get her signature. They're asking me all these questions about the track. And like, I get to answer those. And that to me is the best part. It's getting to share my love for motorsports and getting to see the light turn on in other people's eyes where they get like bit by the bug.
Bit by the bug, right?
Yeah. And they're like, this is sick.
That's awesome.
That's definitely my favorite part is being able to do that. And like, just getting to like show people my world. Like even like last weekend, I took my best friend to her first NASCAR race, but like first race ever. And she like could not get enough of it. Like she was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
That's awesome.
It's nothing like it.
Yeah. Getting to do that is the best. And then ups and downs. I mean, look, like when you have to get a helmet, overnighted to St. Petersburg and you don't know if it's going to be there and you have a shoot the next day and it better be there or, things aren't going to go over well. That's what's really stressful.
Time crunch.
Time crunch. Oh. I feel like no matter how early we get started on a helmet, it's always down to like the last day. Yeah. Where I started on this 6 months ago and I'm still like, is it going to get there in time?
Yeah, the helmet stuff is weird. I see even just from driver's standpoint, like it does not seem like an easy process, and I'm happy I don't have to be a part of that.
No, I don't know how these drivers like, because like we did one for Lindsay for the season. C4 does one for her for the season. If she wants to do other ones, it's she'll do that on her own. But just doing that one, I was like, oh my God, I'm so tired. But it's like F1 drivers will have a new one every race. I mean, they have like a full-time person literally only doing like helmet, so it's totally different. But I could see how it's a full-time job, like for real. Like
100%.
Well, that was all we have for your questions. Do you have anything else in your head that you wanna pop into or talk about before we head on to, of course, our race debrief and anything else in that regard?
I think I do want, like, I've been getting a lot of questions from people asking me, like, what do you actually like do? Like, what's your job title? Like you say you're a talent manager. And so I just like want to talk about that. So I work at C4 Energy. I'm a talent manager on their team. And so that means that I manage the relationships between the brand C4 and the talent, whether it's Jesse Love and NASCAR, whether it's Lindsay Brewer and Indy Next. But those aren't the only athletes I have. So like, I feel like a comment, like, everything I'm putting out on the internet and on reels, people are like, oh my God, she works in motorsports. And I do, but I also have a whole nother roster of athletes that I manage. So I have one gal who's like a TV personality, manage her, all the contractual assets with her, getting her to shoots, like whatever that looks like on the day-to-day, invoices, etc. And then we have like this major fitness influencer who's like just growing like crazy. He's up to 6 million followers and like manage his day-to-day. He's looking to do some really big stuff this year, managing stuff going on with, like, we have a partnership with Wounded Warrior Project. And then we have this kind of like whole army of like C4, like micro influencers, like an affiliate program that I'm leading as well. And so, and then on top of all that, there's like, I have like monthly reports and monthly audits and things like that. Yeah. That I do. I send out product at the beginning of every month to like our whole roster. So I have all these other responsibilities and all these other athletes that I manage. But the motorsports part being one of the big parts of my job, heading the motorsports effort of C4. But then that's just the part that I'm most passionate about. So I talk about it the most, but it's not the only thing that I do. Like, and that's why I'm, everybody's been so amazing on my Instagram and like super patient with me. And I'm like, I just, I'm like, still have like a full-time job. Like I'm going to answer all your questions, I promise. But like, I have like 5 reports to finish and like send to my VP before I can even open the Google form. So, the answers will get out, but yeah, a lot for everybody asking, like, what do you actually do? And so when I'm at the track, really what I'm doing is managing the relationship between C4 and, like in this case with Lindsay, everything from like getting the helmet made, making sure that it's approved by the brand team. As a C4 brand team, are they okay with, the design, the logo placement? Are they okay with us using that color? Are they okay with us using that style of logo? And then on the livery, like, is this approved by brand team? What does the CMO think of it? Did it go through all the proper channels? And then actually like working with creative and the graphic designers to get those files, send them over to Juncos to make sure they print them, get them on the right spot. Like, and then, invoicing, being at the track, hosting guests, like making sure Lindsay gets to hospitality, does her appearance, like, and then anytime there's like a meet and greet, off track, we do a sweepstakes. Like last year we did a sweepstakes with Lindsay at Speed Vegas, where she like drove like a sweepstakes winner around like a Ferrari. It was so sick.
Wow.
But like coordinating that whole thing, booking her flights, traveling out there with her, setting it all up with Speed Vegas. So there are definitely busy seasons, race, IndyCar season being one of them, and now NASCAR season 2 with everything we're doing with Jesse. But yeah, it's just that's kind of like the day to day for everybody asking, like, what do you like? Somebody was like, what do you even do? And I was like,
it's a funny way to put that.
Okay, let me tell you. So yeah, that's what I do on the day to day.
You're gonna blow the viewers' minds when they figure out it's not just motorsports. They're
my God.
and it's gonna be the Matrix.
Like, what if they hate me? Like, what if they think I'm like a fraud? I'm like, no, I really do all that stuff. I just also do more.
Yeah, for one of the best energy drink companies in the world. So
and that's what I have. I'm
right.
Like, sometimes I pinch myself. I'm like, how is this my life? Like, this is like, I love the company I work for. I love the people I work with. I love the talent I get to represent. Like, there's no way this is real. And like, I look back and people are like, how did you get to where you are? And I think like, I can tell you all day long, like, well, when I was at Bird, I did this. When I was a Ticketmaster, I did this. And then when I was here, I did this. But like, the basis of all of it is like, I was just consistent and I just followed my passion. And I just always looked for opportunities and I made opportunities and I wasn't afraid to start small and smash my ego and do the things that maybe nobody else wanted to do, and like, just never gave up. Like when I got all those rejection letters from, all those teams and all those, corporations that were, all motorsports like based, and I didn't get there, like it very easily could have been like, and there was a period of time where I was like, I guess this just isn't meant for me. And it was discouraging, but always keeping an eye out for that opportunity and like just pursuing it honestly, shamelessly. Cause like at the end of the day, like it's about if you're happy and if you love what you're doing. And like, I don't care if I'm, making $5, like as long as I'm doing what I love, I'm happy, So that's my soapbox.
Wow.
Yeah. Thank you, C4 Energy at the end of the day.
Yeah. Honestly. Yeah.
Thanks for telling us all that. Cause like, honestly, personally, I'm still looking for a job and all that. Like I'm just graduating. So like, this is huge help for me. And I'm sure all of the listeners that have flooded your inbox and started following you, they're going to eat this up. And like, I'm sure you're
yeah, I hope so. And like, I just want to like reiterate, like a lot of people are like, a big question is, what are like different areas of like ways I can get into racing? And, I've shared a little bit in my reels, like, it's not, you can of course look for jobs with teams, especially if you're like local. Like, I don't know about like Europe, but I know in the US, like if you're in the North Carolina area, there are a lot of like NASCAR teams based there.
Yeah.
That is if you are living there, you are kind of set up for success. There's a lot of tracks out there. There's a lot of places that you can like start volunteering. Again, if you're in Indiana, like also a great place where there's a lot of like IndyCar teams based, great place to start like looking for opportunities. But, if you are like elsewhere in the country and you're like, oh, well, there's not a lot of teams based here. Like, I guess I just can't get a job in motorsports, or like my company's based in Austin. You know what I mean? Like there are look at companies that sponsor drivers. Like look at, driver firms that represent talent that are like driver management firms. Like look at, media companies that cover motorsport outlets. Like look at PR agencies that, work with drivers. Like there are so many different ways you can get into it. Like if you are into content creation, start creating motorsports content. Like it might take off. Like you never know. Just do whatever you're doing, do it genuinely and do it like because you have a passion for it and do it for the right reasons, and like the rest will follow.
Just be authentic about it. Make 100%. It work.
Yeah.
Give it a go. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thanks for giving that. Jordan, if you got anything else in your head, pop it out throughout the pod. But we're just going to do our regular podcast now, as we usually do, going through all the F1 news. And Jordan, you're just stuck with us. So
it's perfect. Can I talk, or do I have to like?
Yeah.
Okay.
You have the Google Doc open?
Okay.
We're not going to keep you in the corner. You got the Google Doc open?
Do I? Are you asking?
Yeah. Because we'll go through it, and then we'll chit chat back and forth about it. But yeah, we won't leave you in the corner, and you're not allowed to say anything. You can pitch in whenever you want. We'll throw the talking ball around. So
yeah, exactly. We'll just pitch it around. Just your third host.
I didn't see all of this.
You're a third
host.
Wow.
You're good. You're good.
You're our third host today, man.
Sorry, you guys. I didn't.
Why are you sorry?
You didn't cook in the dock, Jordan. Come on.
I thought that it ended. This is so self-centered of me. I thought it ended after Jordan fan questions. I was like, wow, they didn't put anything in here.
No, dude. McGregor didn't read the fucking doc either. Pardon my language. So don't worry, you're fine. So
Spencer,
don't worry. We got plenty of stuff to go through here. So McGregor, you want to give it our first news story?
Yeah, I will take it away with the news. Kimi Antonelli got his first test of the W12 this week at the Red Bull Ring. The F2 driver was given his first laps of an F1 car after being praised so heavily as the next coming of Verstappen. He said it went really well. They got snow on the first day. I don't know how you can have a test that goes well with the snow on the first day, but he said the second day was great. They made it up for the first day by running a bunch. No times were posted, no word from the team. And we might hear more from like Toto Wolff and other people around it this weekend. So, I mean, Kimi Antonelli, he's supposedly the real deal. There's a lot of rumors with the seat flying around, but yeah, I mean, this one's just kind of following up on the news story from a couple weeks ago. So
this one's interesting too, because apparently Prima is supposed to get, 2 Indy cars next year. So
that's right.
Yeah.
Are they I saw but I saw a thing on Instagram and it was like a picture of Callum. Is that confirmed?
Callum's not
that
confirmed.
Was just
no, okay. Callum's not confirmed, but it's the suggestion now is that him and Mick Schumacher are getting those seats. That's not that. This is just this is hearsay. But I don't know. It would make sense for those two to get that seat.
Yeah.
There's also, I was going to say, there's also ties to Théo Pourchaire, who's the F2 champion.
Yeah, I saw that.
And so, I mean, I think he was also a Prima driver. But I mean, it's going to be like Spencer was saying, and we were talking about this just on text, saying like Teo's going to need some serious testing to get behind the wheel of an Indy car and go no power steering, anything like that. So, and to jump over from F2 after not being in a seat for so long. So that one could be difficult, but Callum and Mick.
Yeah, it could be a dynamic duo in the seats.
Could be special.
So Mick Schumacher could potentially be driving IndyCar, is what you're saying.
That's what the whispering around Twitter that me and McGregor keep seeing is apparently he's a big component possibly for that team.
And the thing is though, like Mick, it makes sense because he can't drive an F1 car. We know that. It's
funny you say that because I'm literally watching I think I talked about this last time. Like I just started watching Drive to Survive. Like I'm very new to the F1 world. I've just always been an IndyCar. And so I'm still on that season. I'm actually on those few episodes right now where Mick's getting the boot. And so
Mick's getting the boot. Yeah, he's done $3 million of damages. In 5 races or something. Like you split a car in half without letting it on
impressive.
So
I was watching it with Sam and I was like, how did he do that? I actually don't know how
I have no idea. I have no idea how you do that. But I mean, he found a way.
Dude.
It'll be interesting. Apparently, Teo's supposed to be driving the McLaren car because David Malukas is still hurt.
Okay, that was my next question. So he's not doing Long Beach?
So neither is Callum.
Callum's not?
Callum cannot because he's driving Wick this weekend.
Yeah.
So he told me I talked to him earlier the week. He said he flew all the way down to do the do Indy testing. It got rained out. They did 3 push laps and he went home.
That was bad. Yeah.
Come on.
So that was
he went
that was
all the way there.
weekend.
Where's he based? Is he UK or?
I could not tell you where he is. He is based in the UK. He is based in the UK, but I don't know where he's. Callum.
Yeah, I think Callum's British based.
Yeah, he's based in the UK. I don't know exactly where he's based with him bouncing around with Wick. But yeah, so Teo's supposed to be apparently driving Long Beach this week.
What is Wick? You keep saying?
World Endurance Championship.
Yeah, WEC.
So
yeah,
they do.
Ian McGregor. I don't even know if we just call it Wick. That's just.
I've never heard of it in my life. So
yeah, we just WEC, little endurance racing for everyone. Do you just break your chair there, Matt?
I think so. Yeah.
Nice.
Shit.
Yeah.
Come on.
Teo's supposed to race this weekend, so it'll be interesting to kind of see how he'll do in that seat. But yeah, it's gonna be a difficult transition, but we'll see what happens in Long Beach.
I'm like,
dude,
are we saying he finishes the race? Yes or no?
It's gonna be hard. He's in a McLaren car, so I'll say yes. But if he was any other
driving for McLaren,
Teo was supposed to be driving. It's not confirmed, but he was.
Teo?
He was the F2. I guess again. You said you're not. Yeah.
Okay, got it. I only knew his last name. Got it.
Yeah. Okay. So he's supposed to be racing. It hasn't been confirmed, but he keeps posting that he's in McLaren. And he's of course Indiana. The only seat that's available for him to drive is that. Where else would it be? So yeah, we'll see how he does this weekend. But on to our next news story. Of course, we have some NASCAR news. This race was actually at Jordan, so I'm going to swing this question to her once we're done the little read. But of course, in the race decided in the last race of the Texas race this week, Sam Mayer pulled off the last lap claim for his first NASCAR Xfinity Series win at Saturday on the Texas Motor Speedway. The official margin of victory was 0.002 seconds as they crossed the finish line, basically door to door. Again, you were at that race, Jordan, so you can give your thoughts on this.
Yeah, I mean, to be completely honest with you, I'm just watching Jesse the whole time. So he was battling for, that spot. I think he finished 9th, which he's beating himself up for, but he's 5th in the standings as a rookie. I'm like, dude,
fantastic.
Nuts.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Incredible. 3 poles, 2 back-to-back poles at the beginning of the season, which has never been done before in, anybody's rookie season in Xfinity. So yeah. I try to, I'm like, dude, you're killing it. So yeah, but I remember when they finished, there was just so much confusion in the pits. Like people were like, oh, it was, this car, and then they showed it up on the screen, and it was like so close, and I was like, that's some damn good racing. Like you don't see that often anymore.
No.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, like I didn't stick around. I didn't go to victory lane or anything. Like once, I just do whatever, Jesse's team is doing. So once they finished, we kind of took off.
Yeah. And normally photo finishes help, like the picture at the end that they take. That one didn't help. I swear you can't tell.
They put it up on the screen, and I looked at my older brother, and I was like, I don't know. And he's like, we were like blown away. It was crazy.
You need to, don't they like drill a hole in the wall and then take a picture from there? It's like you can only see the front bumpers. So like that's got to be so hard to tell.
I know.
But yeah,
but they figured it out pretty quickly. Like it didn't. Which I don't know how they even picked one, because to me it was a tie. But
yeah, exactly. If you can have one, right? But
flip a coin, like I don't know.
Yeah,
in F1 it would have taken 3 business days to get that decision,
and then they'd overturn it.
Oh my god.
So with the very exciting finish in NASCAR, I want to pitch to you guys, what do you guys think is the most exciting racing series right now in motorsports? Because there is a bunch. There is an incredible amount of racing going on right now. I think we're all going to cop out and not say Formula One. I'll just get that out of the way because I don't think anyone's going to pick Formula One.
It's not though. Like it's
not.
It's show and like you think it's exciting because the way they edit it, and it is. Don't get me wrong. Like the fanfare, the pomp circumstance, it's great. But Sam and I watched a race. My boyfriend and I watched what was the one? Japan.
The most recent one? Yeah,
Japan.
And I look at him and I'm like, this is kind of boring. And
yeah.
Like, yeah, it is. It's just not like when you edit it all together, it's so fun. But when you watch it in real time, it's
when you have to sit down for like 2 hours, it's like, okay, this is getting a little.
I will say the Xfinity race this weekend was very long. It was 3 hours.
That's a long race, especially on the oval track. It's a long race.
Yeah,
that's a lot of racing.
How many miles is it then?
It was 300.
Oh my god!
Wow. It was literally 3 hours long. Like we were like,
that's crazy.
Yeah. It's a little aggressive. It's strange because the 500 is just as long, and it feels like it goes by like this.
I know.
So it's hard at times with certain races. You do feel like you're there forever. I remember when I went to Nashville for the 2022 IndyCar race. With the rain delay, it was 8.5 hours. Yeah, it was long. It was a long. I left the racetrack at like 7:30, and it started at like 11.
Imagine if you had a flight, if you were like planning on flying out that night. Like
you weren't. You were not.
You're not making that.
Sorry,
no. That or you're not watching the race.
No, but to answer a question, do you guys think? What do you guys have any ideas? I will go and I will take the cop-out answer, which I think Jordan's gonna say too. Is Xfinity. I have been really enjoying watching Xfinity. Before we started the podcast and before the season started, I was never a NASCAR fan. Never been a NASCAR fan. I've never watched it. I was the idiot saying, why would I want to watch anyone turn left? But I love watching guys turn left.
I'm so into it. I actually, I mean, I obviously love IndyCar. I wish they had more. If they raced on more super speedways, which
I knew she was going to say that.
Yeah,
I knew she was going to say that.
Race, because the Indy 500 is exciting as hell.
Yeah.
Like if they had more super speedways, it would be IndyCar hands down. Because like when they get on their straightaways and they get up to speed, it's crazy.
Yeah,
bring back Pocono.
Bring up the tricky triangle.
Dude, that triangle scares me. But I would say probably, I mean, I love watching Xfinity races because obviously, you know, I love watching Jesse. But I mean, like this weekend, it was I will say it was long, but it was very exciting. It was very entertaining. And with that finish, I mean, that was like something that I just was like, oh man, like I feel like we used to have a lot more of those.
Yeah.
And we haven't. And so being able to have that, I was like, okay, I think I like really like this series.
Yeah, no, I've been like loving watching just the Xfinity stuff and like actually following it and like following Jesse too.
You got to get him on.
We do. We've got to make it happen.
He said he was down. I texted him.
We would love to have him on. I got a nice bet on him too to win the championship. So just tell him, keep going, keep doing his thing.
Keep hammering, Jesse. But no, my answer.
It's funny you say keep hammering because you know they call him the Hammer.
What's
that?
They
actually? We didn't know that.
He's Jesse the Hammer. Love.
Really?
Yeah, he's the Hammer.
That it was meant to be. See, organic.
Maybe I'm just like a huge closed up Xfinity fan.
He's closeted like giant Jesse Love.
Yeah, just massive.
You actually go into his closet like a Jesse Love shrine.
Yeah,
wouldn't surprise me. The candles going.
Gordon.
Yeah. Candles, like a picture of him.
Yeah. But no, for my answer, Spencer, I'm gonna go WEC. They've been going nuts lately. They only have a couple of races, like probably once every month and a half.
Yeah.
And man, like the Qatar 18, whatever, the race that they had in Qatar, it came down to like a 3-second difference between first and second. And that was because I think the guy running in first ran out of gas on the finish line.
Yeah. So, endurance is cool too, because you have the aspect of course, IndyCar has it as well in terms of strategy with gas, but they run out quick when it comes to endurance. It's interesting to see it in IndyCar, especially the 500, where cars just stall out and can't finish the race because they got no gas left.
Yeah.
So I think it's an interesting aspect. But yeah,
WEC, like, what is that?
It's endurance racing.
So it's like sports cars,
hypercars. Yeah,
like closed wheel.
Yeah.
You get a lot of like former F1 champions, people that didn't make it in F1.
Jensen Button,
what that is.
Jensen Button races it now. There's a Jensen Button,
2009 world champion F1.
Dude, yeah. I'm telling you, like I'm such a new F1 person. Like
you're
I literally
good,
don't know anything. Like,
but listen, Indycar, you're a genius. So.
Exactly, that's the thing.
My little brother, actually, you could give my little brother like who won the Indy 500 in like 1965, and he will tell you. Like,
that's crazy.
He knows every year. It's like insane.
No, I struggle with the 500 winners because it's such a not a niche race, but like I can do the F1 champions from like 19 like early 90s. And that's all I can do. I can't do the 500. I can do 500 a few years.
Like that's still.
See, Darren can do. I will glow for Darren for a second. Darren can do the F1 champions from the beginning, but he can also do the car they were driving and the team they were driving for.
That's nuts.
That's crazy.
That's so much information.
If you guys could go to any F1 race and have like full like paddock access, like full like no red tape for you, like which one would it be?
Singapore, really?
I want to go. That's my favorite track on the F1 calendar. Singapore's great. I think China would be a very cool one as well. I think I would say Singapore.
Monaco, just to have like full unimpeded access. Like
I was gonna say I'm gonna go super basic and say Monaco.
I think that one would be unbelievable.
But sitting on a yacht or sitting in one of the hotels you can oversee the track would be incredible. Like imagine you didn't have to even really get a paddock pass. Imagine they could just you could wake up, you could have hotel service, you could have an espresso, and you could just sit on the balcony and watch practice. Like there's nothing better than that. I could get back into bed after 2 minutes. Like that's electric.
Yeah,
that's true.
Fine.
Yeah. Okay, Spencer, you win.
Fine.
You win.
You still get your track. You just get the luxury of not having to actually go to the track and be kind of stressed out. You could just, watch it from your bed.
Yeah. I think Monaco would be like most fun to just like stay right there,
Yeah.
I think another cool one that McGregor will agree with me on, if you could go to Spa and just sit on Eau Rouge, that would be a cool one too.
Yeah.
I think it's funny you say Singapore because I don't even know why, but I like want to go to that one so bad. I don't even like really know anything about it. I just think it looks cool.
It's actually, I was talking recently to one of the ticket providers, and they said Singapore is actually one of their most popular races now.
Really?
In terms of especially for like paddock tickets and just the overall attendance from high celebrities. Singapore apparently is one that everyone wants to go to. It's an exciting track. It's a cool layout. It's hot as ever, but it is a very cool track.
Is it really?
I think it's one of the hotter tracks other than like Qatar. It's one of the hottest tracks that they race on. So
I also want to go to Jeddah because I like the name Jeddah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Jeddah's a good race too. I love Jeddah.
Very Star Wars-esque. So
yeah.
Okay, so I'm glad we all figured out what F1 race we're all going to as a team. We still got to figure out who's our fourth head on the Mount Rushmore, but we'll figure that out.
We'll figure it out. It'll hit one of us at like 2 a.m. tonight.
It will probably. I had us full C4, so we'll be up and doing our thing. So of course, this race weekend for Formula One is the Chinese Grand Prix, the only communist countries to still host a Formula One race. A little tidbit for you guys there. Yep. However, we do have some controversy already, and the weekend hasn't even begun. Apparently, so as we all know, this track delivers some of the arguably most exciting racing. Of course, Formula One has not been back there since COVID, but there are some massive concerns right now being taken part in the schedule, especially for the first sprint of the year. Max Verstappen saying it is not the smartest decision for the Formula One team to head back there this weekend. Again, note that this is the first sprint of the weekend. While the track is expected to be very green with the Pirelli tires, we kind of don't know exactly how the race is going to unfold after a full 5-year absence. This track has been given a lack of grip, which will absolutely be terrible for drivers until they actually get some practice out. Of course, rain as well will be a factor, including and expecting to be probably like a Turkey 2.0. Of course, in 2020, the Turkish Grand Prix was an absolute nightmare with crashes having left, right, and center. Jordan, I see you typing frantically in the chat here saying that you don't know what a sprint is. Do you want
you're not supposed to say it. I don't want them to know what it is.
I had to. No, it's fine. No, it's not. No, so the sprint format it's not, because the sprint format is relatively new. Of course, Formula One now is doing almost like a mini race. It's all it is. They do a regular qualifying for the sprint, and they only do basically, I think it's like 1/3 of the track. So pretend they do.
Why? Why are they doing that?
They do it for viewership. Viewership and entertainment.
I mean, I knew that they were doing it, and I know that Max doesn't like it because I saw something on Instagram, but I don't know the specifics of it.
I don't love it. I think it's silly. It also doesn't count as a race win if you win. You don't collect a race win.
Figure that one out,
which is very stupid. But it is just an entertainment standpoint. Formula One was trying to kind of get a little bit more exciting. They've added another sprint this year. I think there's 6 total. 6
total.
Did they do them last year?
They did, but they were very small. They did not. I think they only did 4 or 5. It was not really talked about to an extent. It's just, and they don't really collect too many points. It's very, very small for the overall. do they drive? They must collect points for the drivers' championship.
Yeah, they collect fewer points.
Small.
It's like I think the max is like 8.
They have to get something out of it, otherwise they would not want to do it.
It's very small though. However, but it'll be interesting to kind of see how the track plays out. Again, it has not been really touched in 5 years. It's been repaved for the upcoming race this weekend.
Yeah,
but it's gonna be scary.
This is gonna be awesome. I'm so happy to get China back on the grid because
when's the sprint race then?
Sprint race on our time is Saturday. It'd be Saturday afternoon or Saturday night. So qualifying for the sprint is actually Friday night at 11 p.m. our time. So that'd be 8 p.m. your time.
Yeah.
So I would definitely tune in if you're not a Formula One fan. Definitely tune into that race because it's going to be mayhem on the track.
And I mean, we're going to see a lot of teams are really struggling still. So there's a couple people, Haas are bringing upgrades for, I believe it's just K-Mag.
It's kind of baller.
Right.
What did Hulkenberg just getting the butt end of the stick on that?
Yeah, I guess they don't want to split it up too much or have to focus on building 2 new cars essentially. And then Alpine's bringing the upgrades for Ocon. I'm not sure why they're just picking one.
Picking their faves, apparently.
They're just doing it, yeah. Well, I mean, these are kind of the people that need the little get up and go, except I think Ocon's outperforming Gasly right now. So, but yeah, this will be interesting because we're still seeing teams struggle with their early season cars. And this circuit has low, medium, and high speed corners and a 1 kilometer long straight. So these cars are just going to get put to their paces. The slow, poorly developed cars are going to stick out like sore thumbs. And yeah, I'm not sure what we can really expect for this weekend.
I guess we're going to have to watch it
too, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of factors to kind of see how the race will turn out, but yeah, it'll be competitive, but I'm a little worried for driver safety a little bit just because they just repaved it. They haven't gone to the track. There's certain guys that have never driven this track. So yeah, it's a little scary, but we'll kind of see what happens, and we'll head into our predictions. Jordan, what we usually do here is me and McGregor will pick our top 3 who we think is going to basically come top 3. You can either leg off of ours, or you can just go to the wall and guess whatever you want to guess. So my number 5 pick for this week is Piastri. I would love to see him come a top 5. I believe in the McLaren boys, and that's all I got for my number 5.
I got Alonso. He is going to drive that car until it either breaks or it comes on the podium. It's not coming on the podium this week, so he's going to just stay on the top 5.
Jordan, who do we got for your P5?
Piastri.
See, I like that pick. That's a solid pick.
Look, again, this is coming from somebody, I'm still super new to F1, but from everything I've seen, in Drive to Survive, and I've been paying attention to the series, or the season so far. Mm-hmm. McLaren looks good. I think Norris will be above. I think Lando will be in the top 4, but I think Piastri would do 5.
Yeah,
Piastri 5.
That is entirely valid.
My P4 for this weekend is, as Jordan would say, Norris. I got Lando Norris, P4. I think the Red Bulls and the Ferraris will still be much faster than the entire grid. But I would like to see, Norris come out and put out a good lap. I would love to see a new team win the sprint, but I guess we're going to have to see. McGregor, who's your P4?
I have Charles Leclerc. I think Ferraris are going to be absolutely missiles on this one, just with the faster corners, faster. It's just an overall faster track. But yeah, I think Leclerc, hopefully he can put something together. I mean, I don't know if he's ever driven this track. Yeah, he must have.
He wouldn't have.
No,
I don't think he would have, because he would have, unless he raced in F4 or F2.
Right. Yeah. Well, hopefully he's got some beginner's luck then. I don't know. But yeah, that's Leclerc for 4 for me.
Jordan, who you got?
Lando.
Yeah, I like that pick.
Yeah, that's good.
She looks with a concerned face. No, it's a good pick. If I picked it, it's a decent pick.
Okay. Oh, shut up. You're so wrong. McLaren's going to get hosed this weekend.
Nah, they'll be fine. In my P3, who is the left side of my podium, I got Mr. Sainz. What are you laughing at, smirking at over there?
We got the exact same top 3 here. So
yeah, we can just riddle it off if you want. I think Jordan's going to agree too on our top 3. So no, she doesn't.
I think Carlos is going to be first.
Okay, Carlos is going to be first.
Yeah.
So
I just love Carlos.
Yeah,
I like the pick. Me and McGregor, of course, have Sainz, Perez, and of course, Max Verstappen.
Max Verstappen.
But Jordan has
speak it into existence. Like,
no, hey, listen, I think Sainz has a very good chance.
No, I mean, look, it's realistically like I would love for it to be Sainz. Like, I love him, but like it's realistically like it's gonna be Max, and that sucks because it's so boring every time.
Yeah, 100%.
But it is.
The rain's going to make things interesting. Well, rain, we kind of guessed that for Japan as well, and it didn't really happen, but
it did not.
It could just come down to another strategy battle. So hopefully the Ferrari guys can put something together because they've been doing well lately. But Red Bull, they've got to be number 1 and 2.
Yeah, I think it'll be a mayhem weekend. So I think expect anything to happen. I think if Max has a legit crash, I think this is the race that'll happen. It's going to be mayhem. If he can't get away at the start, it's going to be tight. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I like those picks. Anyone got anything else until we head into some betting corner news?
That's all you, Spencer.
Okay, so of course, before we get into this weekend's racing bets, we of course want to thank our other sponsor of the week, the Hall of Fame Collection. This company has one of the largest motorsports memorabilia collections in the world, including gear from nearly every driver you see on the grid, from brand new 2024 helmets from Lando Norris and raced used suits from Charles Leclerc. Interested in what they have stock? Well, head to the brand new website, HOFcollection.com, for all your racing needs. Brand new website. Website's up. It looks fantastic.
It does.
And there's some awesome gear on there, including some brand new helmets and some very cool new stuff. So head there if you want to, because there's some great F1 apparel for you there.
Yeah, you guys got the new helmets, right? The Alonso, what was it? Alonso Japan one that I sent you today?
Yeah, the Japan, the Silverstone, and what's the other one? Oh, Las Vegas.
Vegas.
All the replica ones, which look incredible, and they come with custom bases too. So if you like F1 helmets and any of the gear, head to the website. Jordan, you got anything?
No.
You got nothing for us, eh?
I'm going to Long Beach this weekend.
Let's go.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go.
You were there last year, Spencer.
I was there last year. They put on a good event. I find the race a little bit boring. That's just me being critical.
I haven't been there since 2016, I think, was the last time I went there. It's just because I'm from here. Like, look, I want to travel to go.
Yeah.
Not that exciting, but I'm here and I'm going to go down but I'm not going to go the whole weekend. I'm going to go Saturday for sure for quals, and then Sunday we'll see. I don't know. It's kind of a trek, but I don't know. The vibes are great. It's a
good event. They put a great event on, and you're going the road course too. And I heard you're doing the 500. That's what the birds are chirping to me. You're coming to the 500.
Who are the birds?
That is just in my head. I just thought you were coming to 500.
I'm like, because now I might be in Charlotte for the Xfinity race, so I don't know. It's the same thing that happened last year. It was like 500 or Charlotte, and I ended up going to
You
Charlotte,
could do both. The 500's on the Sunday, and the Saturday is the race for Xfinity. If you wanted to do it, you could do it.
I know.
You could do it. And of course, we'll head quickly into the betting lines, and then Jordan can do her rant, and then we'll be ready
What's my rant?
Go. Right, if you're coming to 500 or not.
Oh,
dude.
Okay.
The only bet that I have this weekend, which I do like, we're talking about, of course, staying on the topic of China. The red flag at plus 350 is a fantastic bet. I put my parents' mortgage on it, and they don't know yet, so I really hope that bet works. I think it's a great little. Don't tell them. Don't. If it hits, you can.
They
tell
already
them.
know. I already told them.
Spencer. I think it'll be a great bet for you guys. That's all I really have. The sprint weekend will be interesting to kind of see if maybe Ferrari could squeeze a sprint win at 5-1. But other than that, guys, that's all I got. If you guys got anything else, start chirping.
Oh, I got something.
He's got something. He's grabbing something, and I don't know what it is. I'm waiting for it.
And a whole box of somethings.
Oh, he's got t-shirts.
T-shirts still available. We still have so many.
Yeah, we do. We got a bunch more. Jordan, I'm shipping your t-shirt out tomorrow. I promise. I have them right here.
I can't wait.
Look.
I'm so excited. I'm going to wear it everywhere.
I have them right here. Look, see? I have
them they're the best. Let's go. I didn't get any t-shirt pictures from the week. So if you have pictures of you wearing your t-shirt, send them. We'll put you up on the Fuel and Fumes Instagram account. What else do I have? We're also getting started on YouTube. So if you're hearing this, like, follow, subscribe, comment.
A whole bit.
We're on
Instagram. We're on TikTok, of course. Jordan, everyone knows Jordan's Instagram. Jordan, you can shout out real quick in case people don't know it already.
It's just my name, Jordan Agajanian.
I don't got much more. I want to
take a pic for my story.
Oh, we also got to do a thumbnail. We always forget to do a thumbnail.
What is that?
Oh,
it's a double thumbs up.
That's cool.
Okay, let's do a thumbnail, and then actually let's just stop this, and then we'll do a thumbnail. Guys, thanks for tuning in. We hope that Jordan answered all your questions. If you don't know us, of course, I'm Spencer, and we got McGregor, and of course Jordan this week. So yeah, follow us on all our socials, and thanks for tuning in.